Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest version of Tales from Outer Space, where I take an HFY story from somewhere around the internet and read it aloud for your enjoyment. All the relevant links are down below. Like, subscribe, and all that YouTube comf to help this video and channel grow. Anyways, as always, I hope that you enjoy. I would just like to thank the following Tier 5 patrons and channel members for supporting the channel: Datamagnet and Bob the Dragon. Thank you again. And now, on to the story. Story number 1. Look for the Helpers. Written by Historical Chicken. I've never seen Terran, though the stories relayed to me by friends of friends and common bar-goers had filled my mind with wild fantasies of an aggressive race. I heard everything from they're twice the size of a Zolarian to they have as many arms as a Lbry, though no story stuck with me more than the one told to us by a Feyan woman. I'm not much of a tale slinger, but I'll try and recall it as best of my knowledge. I'm sure I don't have to tell you about the civil war still raging in the Feyan, but on the chance that it slipped your mind, let me elaborate. In short, the world leader of the Feyan was assassinated, and the resulting void of power created the perfect storm for 3 factions to stake their claims. It's been about 100 galactic years since it started, and yet it rages on as if the body of that leader was still warm. Yeah, I digress. Back to the story. The Feyan are still fighting their ancient war, and Silva, the Feyan woman, saw enough tragedy for 1,000 lifetimes. Her home engulfed in flames and family hobbling, but alive. Like many Feyan, they wandered the streets hungry and helpless. They had just survived the most devastating assault on the capital yet, and had only their wounds and defeated spirits as a prize. She also looked so melancholy when she finished that part of the story. But as she continued, her eyes would shine with a fierce emotion, and though I cannot capture such a strong feeling, I felt that you must know about it. What she described to us was like a scene out of an ancient holy books. Sleek, grey starships, hundreds of them, maybe thousands, descended upon the capital. All of them bore the insignia of the very one Silva had tattooed on her hand, of the United Earth Defense Force. She claims they landed all over the city, and though the military vessels were indeed full of particle weapons and energized armor plates, so too were they filled with volunteers. Like angels in a stark white uniform, Terrans, or humans as they prefer to be called, poured from their ships. Some were in full armor protecting others, while the rest had armfuls of medical supplies, food and water, and portable shelters. Silva could never describe what followed in much detail, her heart so full with gratitude and her mind so weary from survival. It was because of these humans that Silva and her family, and the families of many other Feyans survived. I suspect that she is right. After a few days of recovery, Silva finally worked up the nerve to speak to the human doctor looking after her. With tears welling up in her eyes, she thanked the human profusely, and with a small, childish voice asked, "Why are you here? What have we done to deserve this?" The human simply smiled and knelt down before Silva. She spoke soft and sweet. There was once a man, a few hundred Earth years ago, who said that when he saw scary things, his mother told him to look for the helpers. She paused to wipe away the tears slipping from the eyes of the child. Well, I've been looking for the helpers down here, and since I didn't see any, I thought I'd become one. It was always then that Silva ended her story, too overcome with emotion to continue. I found out through my own research that the Terrans ignored the warnings of the Galactic Council to intervene on a planet's struggle. Still, they fight, but now that the Terrans have joined the fray, the rightful government is on the brink of victory. Silva is now an adult, and like the human who treated her wounds on Feyan, she too has become a helper, mending wounds on the same battlefield that she was forged on. This was just the first story I've been told of the compassion and generosity of the Terrans. I've since heard many, many more stories. Still, I have not seen one, but I've heard enough to know that they are not the harbingers of destruction many would accuse them of being. They are instead the catalyst of hope and a proponent of peace. End of story. Story number 2. Penance, written by Wall of Shadows. The man sat at the desk with a horrified expression as the 12-armed insectoid walked up. "Cause of death?" he asked. "No shit. There I was, minding my own business, drinking at the Bladed Kronk Tavern, when this arsehole comes waltzing in, offering drinks for everybody. Maybe I should have known better than to go in a monkey bar, but..." The man broke in. "They're not actually monkeys, you know." Yeah, whatever, Dad. Primate, ape, subspecies, whatever. Anyways, I was always saying, this arsehole walks in and buys a round for the house. Just hit platinum on some asteroid mine that he had a claim on. Something called a Bloody Mary. Yeah, he thought that it was a blood and alcohol, like any civilized creature would. How the hell am I supposed to know that it's filled with chemical weapons? Nicotides, capsaicin, and isothiocyanate. In one cocktail. Crazy-ass monkeys. The man sighed as he filled out the form. "Okay, first door on your right. Pick up the robe on your way through. Guy at the gate will show you where to bunk." Calls of death. The millipede-like alien stuttered as he spoke. We were on a routine trade mission. We had a cargo of rare furs that we traded for crates of carbon and sulfur. Our engineers had taken on a human apprentice. He was a great asset on our trip out. As he spent the entire time optimizing the system, we didn't even know we weren't running at peak efficiency. It was on the return trip that he became a problem. Without anything to repair, he suffered from a disease called boredom. Apparently, it spent the first few weeks collecting his liquid waste and distilling it down to a nitrate components. He then created some chemical explosives from his own bodily waste. The last thing I remember is the human asking me to hold his can of alcohol." The man rubbed the bridge of his nose in frustration. "First door on your right. Pick up a robe on your way through. Guy at the gate will show you where to bunk." Calls of death. "Piracy," said the ravenous-looking monstrosity seated across the table. "Look," sighed the old man in white robes, "piracy is not a cause of death." "It is when you board a human ship. Goddamn things didn't even have any proper weapons. Me and my buddies figured they were easy pickings. Come to find out, they can improvise weapons from anything. Wrenches, hammers, writing implements. One lady beat my co-pilot to death with a book. I bought it when the cabin boy tackled me into the airlock and spaced the both of us." "Right, watch the blasphemy if you don't mind. First door on your right. Pick up the robe on your way through. Guy at the gate will show you where to bunk." Calls of death. "My government launched a nuclear strike against the human colony. Humans dropped a planetoid on my homeworld," said the small, radially symmetrical creature. As it fell, the astronomers noted that all along its equator was several billion credits worth of sodium vapor lighting, spelling out the human words, "From hell's heart I stab thee." The man behind the desk blinked in stunned relief. "Come again?" he said. "Oh, sure. There's about 1 billion more in line behind me." The old bearded man looked impatiently at his subordinate. "Look, Pete, this is enough. I've been doing your damn job for a millennia, and I've got crap to do. I'm tired of hearing humans this, humans that. Get your ass back into the receiving desk." A tall, pale stick of a man frowned. "Look, boss, I'll go back to the desk anytime you say. It's your show here, but you asked me to set you a penance, and that's damn well what I did." JHVH sighed. St. Peter was right. After all, he was the one who created these humans. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.